Hello, hello. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I'm still waiting for Victor to join. I think he has accepted, and so we're just waiting for him to connect. Um, Everyone can hear me all right, right? Great, yes, awesome. Glad you guys can hear me. Here, let me start sharing a screen too. Okay. I look cool with the hat. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I had a bad hair day and I have not had time, admittedly, to even shower these days. It's been extremely busy over here, right? Because we have both Manta Network and Calamari. And Calamari, we've been working really hard on the technical side, and you guys probably saw the recent runtime upgrade, which is awesome. On-chain governance is now available, and we're pushing to get the token transfer enabled, and then the test net. So there's that. And then on the Manta Network side, we have two amazing events. The first one is the squad game, which I'm sure you guys are all really excited about. And then we also have the crowd loan that's starting, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And I'll get into a lot more detail in just a second. I'm just going to give Victor about probably like 30 more minutes before we begin. I'm sorry, not 30 more minutes, 30 more seconds. All right, everyone's ready for squad game. Squad game number one. Straight out of the mouth of Jesus right there. 30 more minutes. Yeah, sorry, 30 more seconds. Let me see if he's able to join. Still accepted and connecting, huh? Wow. All right, well, I think that Victor may have some connection issues right now. He is out of the country, and so actually, I'm out of the country right now as well. We're all, well, I guess depends on which country. We may be out of the country or in the country, but we're all still on Earth. So, yeah, without further ado, let's begin. We've got a lot to cover today, and I know that a lot to cover means not just the parachain auctions. I want to start off with some housekeeping because for those of you who don't know, right, this conversation, we have it every single Wednesday. So every single Wednesday, we get the community together. Usually it's on Telegram. It's pretty informal. We just bring people together, give people updates, have an open forum for people to answer or ask questions. But this time around, right, like the parachain event, I think is extremely important. And so we wanted to gather you guys here on Crowdcast today. And so we can go through our presentation and make sure that all of our thoughts and strategies around the crowd loan are organized for you. But before we do that, right, I want to get into some housekeeping. So, I know there's a lot going on. And so there's two major categories of questions right now. And, within those major categories of questions, there's a lot of other questions. But the first one is, usually centered around calamari. And so, the main question is essentially, when are we going to start getting our rewards? Well, for those of you that saw or might not have seen, we recently tweeted that we did our most recent runtime upgrade, and that runtime upgrade enabled on-chain governance. And so for those of you who are kind of following our roadmap for Calamari, on-chain governance is the first step that we need to take before we enable token transfer. And so token transfer is the next runtime upgrade that we'll be doing. And right now, we're scheduled for that runtime upgrade between the dates of November 8th to November 15th. And so this is something that we're working on very actively, simultaneously with all the other things we're working on over at Manta. But I just wanted to give you guys a clearer date on what we're thinking about in terms of launching the token transfer. After token transfer is enabled, then the next thing that we're going to be doing is going to be focusing on Manta Network's testnet. and Manta Network, sorry, not Manta Network, Calamari Network's testnet, which is basically Manta Network's testnet as well. So it's kind of one and the same. But we'll be releasing the Calamari testnet sometime in Q4 as well, and that more details about that and the incentives, etc., will be coming soon. On to more recent news, right? For those of you who are participating in Squad Game, and I'm sure many of you are. We get a lot of questions here, and so I just kind of wanted to update you guys on all this. So Squad Game, right? It's happening on November 10th and November 11th, so in just about a week, and it's right before the beginning of the parachain auctions, which start on November 11th. So November 10th is going to be for round 1, which is guaranteed allocation, and November 11th is going to be for round 2, which is first come, first serve. People who are qualified to participate in round 1 can participate in round 2 as well. And on Friday, we're going to be sending out the details about the Squad Game. And so, I know a lot of you are asking about, what's the allocation amount, what's the cap, etc. All of that information is going to be sent out to you on Friday for people who are participating. Now, with that in mind, right, we're also talking about, some troubleshooting. And I know that many of you guys are in the community asking questions and you're nervous. You want to make sure that you can participate. I implore you to follow the instructions in our pin messages in Discord and Telegram, right? And that leads you to a support link on email. And, our team is working hard on getting those support tickets fulfilled. So please do that. Otherwise, there's just too many questions coming in at once in the community chat, and there's just no way we can keep up with all of them. And we just want to make sure that we can address everyone. And so the best way to do that is to make sure that you go through the email. All right, so with Calamari and Manta Network Squad Game completed, let's get down to it. So here's us. How did we get here, right? We're at a really, really interesting milestone in the development of Manta Network, right? We're seeing this baby grow up together. On the left side is myself, and then 2 other co-founders, Shumo and Victor. Victor is here as well. Shumo unfortunately couldn't make it to this call. He's our technical co-founder, and as you can imagine right now, there's a lot to do on the technical side. And so, yep, there's Victor. Hello. But yeah, so we probably look better in the picture than we do in real life. But yeah, that's us. So we started off as a small team, right? 3 of us. And we scaled out, and we've been building ever since. And we're at around 15 people now, and we're still continuing to grow. We're growing to we anticipate, or we want to hit probably around 20 people by the end of the year. And so some of the big talent that we're looking for right now is on the engineering side. If you have experience with Rust, if you're a full stack developer, if you're front end and you do design and you're interested in taking a stab at becoming more part of the Manta Network project, then definitely reach out. We're looking for amazing, talented engineers who have a passion for Manta Network. And we're also looking for people on the business development and strategy side. So if you have experience in the crypto space, right, and you have a large network and you want to, help people understand Manta and build the community, also reach out, and, we can definitely talk about that. But with that being said, right, since around mid 2020 when we started building Manta Network, we've hit a lot of different milestones, right? This is a list of some of our achievements, and you don't have to go through all of this. All this is in a document that you can all look through in detail later. But the idea here is that we're not just building random things, right? We're hyper focused and we're very aggressive in our development. And so from the development and engineering side, we've made so much progress. We've hit so many milestones, right? I remember when we hit the first milestone of our Web3 Foundation grant, right? We got such compliments from the review of our code. And so that really motivated our team to work even harder. And then on the fundraising side, right? We got A lot of great funds involved in exactly what we're doing here, right? A lot of really large, reputable funds who are also passionate, not just about DeFi, but privacy, right? Because privacy is a huge problem, especially on-chain privacy. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. And so, right, we've got Polychain, we've got CoinFund, we've got Spartan, Parify, Multicoin, right? And in fact, I think we're the only multi-coin Polkadot project. And so, we're a unique portfolio company in their roster, which makes us feel all nice and warm inside. But yeah, so we've got a really great roster of investors backing us as well. So, we're really excited from both the team space and as well as just the general ecosystem. So why is Manta Network important on Polkadot, right? Like, I understand crowd loans get extremely exciting. We saw that with Calamari, we saw that with Kusama. Everyone wanted to participate. We see that with, the current Polkadot price. Everyone's buying up dots so we can participate in the parachain auctions. It's an exciting time, right? But like, I also want to make sure that we don't forget why we're supporting all these Polkadot projects. And specifically for Manta, right? Like, why are you guys supporting Manta, right? Like, you're not just giving us an opportunity for a parachain, but our whole value proposition is to be able to privatize all parachain assets. So you can privatize your DOT, you can privatize your Kusama, you can privatize your stable coins, wrapped major crypto assets, etc. And so being able to privatize that on-chain and transfer in a privacy-preserving manner, right? That's something that the blockchain space desperately needs, right? Like, all of your transactions, all of your data, all of your interactions in different decentralized applications, it's fully public. People can see. I can see which CryptoKitties you bought. I can see which CryptoPunk you have, right? And so it's kind of only the beginning. But if you think about blockchain five years from now, when you're interacting with all sorts of different applications and all sorts of different things that, like, you may not want people to see, right? What do? You need privacy in that case. And so that's exactly what we're building for the Polkadot ecosystem. And that's what makes Manta Network such a critical and important piece of all this. And so, when you're backing Manta Network in the crowd loan, just remember, right? Like, you're not just putting in DOT. You are really making a difference in the future role of privacy within the Polkadot ecosystem, which will be extremely important for blockchain in general. And with Manta Network, right, Polkadot will have that advantage at an early start. What is the role of Calamari and Manta tokens in the ecosystem? Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'll get to that in just a second. But now on to the juicy details. So what are we doing? We're doing a crowd loan. And for those of you who don't know what a crowd loan is, right? A crowd loan is, I guess, an event where you lend us your DOT. And all the DOT that we collect through what you've lended to us or what you've lent to us, I guess lended or lent, but the DOT that we collect, we use that to rent a slot in the Polkadot network. And we can use that slot called a parachain to launch our network. And I say rent because we actually have a limited time, right? And this is the same for Kusama. On Kusama, the maximum amount of time that you can rent a parachain slot is 48 weeks. On Polkadot, the maximum time you can rent a slot is 96 weeks. And so at the end of that 96 weeks, we have to do another parachain auction. But at that end of 96 weeks, it also means that you get your DOT or your Kusama, right, back. And so this is why it's called a crowd loan and not like a crowd purchase, right? Because you're loaning us your DOT and you receive it back. We never touch it. It's all on chain. And so as part of that, right, how do we incentivize people to loan to us rather than other projects, right? Unless you have a super huge passion for privacy, which we all do, but we don't expect you to. Unless you have that passion, right? Like there's other incentives that you're probably looking for. And so what we've done, and what all parachain projects do, is set aside an allocation of rewards for the community. So if you loan us your DOT, we'll give you some of our Manta token. Right? And for us specifically, we've reserved a total supply of 15.6% of our token supply. And this is up to 15.6%. And I'll break it down in a lot of detail later. But like I also have a link to all this information that I'll share with you all at the end of this so you have a better understanding. So the allocations that we have, they're broken down into 3 different categories. So parachain auction reserves, right? This is the base reward. This means that whatever sort of dot amount that you put in, we're going to give you a proportionate amount of rewards. And this is something that you earn automatically by doing nothing except contributing dot. Now, the second one, which is really interesting, is that you get an extra bonus amount of Manta by participating in our upcoming Manta Pay liquidity event. And so I'll tell you a little bit about the Manta Pay liquidity event, but the idea here is that this allocation of 30 million Manta tokens is exclusive to crowd loaners. So when the event starts, only the crowd loaners can win this amount. And so that 30 million, right, the way that you do it is we want you to try out Manta Pay. That's what we're asking you to do. And if you try out Manta Pay, we'll give you a portion of the Manta Pay liquidity event, the rewards from there. And so it's very simple to try out Manta Pay. All you have to do is take a parachain asset and wrap it to put it in the privacy preserving version on Manta Network. And then you can send it to other people or you can withdraw it at any time. And there's more details about that that'll be in the document that I share with you. But the idea here is that we're trying to incentivize our crowd loan community, not just to put in DOT, but also to try out our products. And so once Manta Pay launches, we're going to launch this event and you guys are all welcome to participate. And I really hope you do. So the final allocation is the Binance Early Bird Rewards. And so for those of you who are keen on looking up all the news at the fastest time, you probably already saw this. Binance has listed us as one of the projects that they're supporting for the parachain auctions. And as part of that, we are supporting the Binance community by giving a specific allocation of rewards to them. So anyone who contributes to our crowd loan through Binance gets an extra allocation in that 6 million Manta pool. And that allocation is proportionate to the amount that you contribute. But we'll get into more details about the rewards in just a second. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to replicate Calamari's success, right? Calamari was an extremely dramatic and divisive, but successful and popular crowd loan. Right, we got 16,000 unique wallet addresses that contributed, and this broke records. This is the highest amount of crowd loan contributors on Kusama for any particular project, right? And we're honored to have that because it shows that the community really does see the value in what we're building. And we want to be able to do that for Manta Network as well, because privacy is just as important, if not more important, on Polkadot than on Manta. Than on Kusama. And so we definitely want to make sure that we can get a parachain slot there too. And so, this is why we're having this conversation, because whether or not we get a parachain slot really depends on you guys. And so we definitely need your help on that. So, like I mentioned, there's an allocation. It's a fixed ratio, which means for those of you that participated in Calamari, you'll see that it's pretty similar in the sense that any single dot that you contribute, you get a proportionate amount of rewards. So every 1 dot, you get up to 5 Manta. Now, as I mentioned before, of that 5 Manta, 4 of it is automatically given to you. So if I contribute 1 dot, I automatically qualify for 4 Manta. If I want to qualify for that extra 1 Manta, right, that extra 20%, then what I do is I participate in the Manta Pay liquidity event once Manta Pay comes out. I try out Manta Pay, and I get that extra 1 Manta. And then on top of that, right, we have bonuses, early birds, very similar to, a lot of other projects. And we're doing it in a kind of unique way because what we're allowing is a 10% early bird bonus for people who contributed before November 11th. And for those of you who don't know what November 11th marks, November 11th is when the first parachain auction begins. And so the parachain auction or the crowd loans began a week before, so November 4th. So if So between November 4th and November 11th, if you contribute to our crowd loan, we give you an extra 10% bonus. The extra 5% bonus occurs after the crowd loan or after the auctions begin. So between the first auction and the third auction, if you contribute DOT to us, then you get an extra 5% early bird bonus. And then finally, right, like we talked about Binance and, their role in all of this as a partner. And so we do have that pool of 6 million Manta available for anyone who contributes to the Manta crowd loan through Binance. And there is a time duration on that, right? So you need to be able to contribute the DOT to our crowd loan before November 11th. And so after November 11th, the Binance event ends. And so you have about 7 days to do so. And, definitely do so. So with that all being said, I just basically summarized everything. But there's a lot more detail. And so everyone who wants to see all that detail, go to crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. And we've laid out a whole document for you to go through. And if you have any questions, right, just you can ask in our community channels, or if you have any questions right now, you can ask right here. I see that there are quite a bit of questions, and I ended at around the 30-minute mark, which is exactly, on time. I want to spend the next probably 15 to 20 minutes answering any questions that the community may have. I know that many of you probably asked questions on the chat room, but unfortunately, I can't see all the questions on the chat room. You see, this is like Telegram. When everyone asks questions on Telegram, it disappears. So what I ask you to do instead is, if you look at the bottom of this browser, you'll see this section called Ask a Question. Please put your question in there. Please also keep it relevant to the crowd loan, because this is not a forum to help you troubleshoot certain issues about the squad event. And so, like I mentioned before, there are specific instructions about how you can get support on squad. Just read the pinned messages on our Telegram and Discord channels. So with that being said, I am going to read the questions. Okay, the top question is, how many Manta tokens per DOT contributed? And that was voted up 26 times, which is the exact amount of letters in the English alphabet. And that's the answer right there. So every 1 DOT that you contribute, you get up to 5 Manta tokens. 4 by default, and 1 by participating in the Manta Pay liquidity event. What happens if Manta does not win any of the parachain auctions? Well, that would really suck. So there are, I think Gavin had quoted around like 100 parachains to start. And honestly, if Manta Network can't win any of the 100 parachains, then, probably it's a project that we shouldn't be doing. But more specifically, right, like, I think what you're asking here is like, what if Manta doesn't win any of the parachain auctions in this auction batch, right? Auctions 1 through 5. And this is a risk that a lot of projects have, because there's only 5 slots, but Binance is already supporting 9 projects, and we don't know however many other projects are coming on board. For projects that don't get a parachain slot this round, by the end of this round, I mean the end of the 5th auction, if you don't win, then what happens is all of the DOT that we've collected gets refunded. It gets sent back to all of the contributors, right? And so that means that we don't get a parachain slot in this round, and we don't have any rewards except Binance. Binance's rewards will stay with the Binance users in round 1, regardless of whether or not we win this parachain auction. And so all the other rewards are not qualified, and we'll use those rewards to go for the next batch of parachain auctions, slots 6 through 10. How's the token economics? Distribution to the team, the seed investors, the public sale? Yeah, so there is a lot of information about that. I see someone commented there already, and that's a link to a good table. And we also have a link to that table in crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. So please take a look there, and you'll see all the distributions of the tokens to different categories. All right. Thanks for the live stream. I would like to see an alpha version of the site, what the exchange will look like. I was looking for this information and I could not find it. So we have an internal testnet right now, and we're actually building out the user interface for the external testnet, and we can definitely share videos and screenshots of that. That's no problem. We intend to launch the testnet first on Calamari, and this will be shortly after the token transfers are enabled, which I mentioned were around November 8th to November 15th. Before then, right, I do want to caveat that the first product that we're coming out with on Kusama is called MariPay, and on Polkadot it's called Manta Pay. And these two products are for private transacting. So you can privatize different parachain assets, and you can send those different parachain assets to other people in a privacy-preserving manner. But that means that this is not the swap. Right, the swap product is coming out in 2022, and the swap product is where we have the AMM DEX. And so this is where you'll be able to privatize different tokens and swap for different tokens in a privacy-preserving manner. And so we have not started working on the front end for that. And so, there's not really a version for you to look at there. But we could definitely share more information about MantaPay and MariPay. What stage of development is Manta in? Oh man, that's a really philosophical question. I think, in the grand scheme of things, we're still, building really hard, really fast, and we're trying to hit milestones very quickly. As I mentioned about the testnet release and, everything kind of going on Calamari first, right? So I think I kind of covered a lot of the answers there. When will the KMA token be listed? I don't know. I have no comment there. Are there any agreements with the exchanges? I also don't know. I don't have any comments there. So how can Manta implement a private DeFi? I mean, that's a really good question. I really wish Shumo was on this call to give you a really technical answer, but I'll take a stab at it. So we use an algorithmic approach called the zero-knowledge proof. And a zero-knowledge proof is essentially a way to prove that you have ownership or that you've taken an action or anything. You can prove something without actually revealing any information. And so a very, very simple example of this is, red ball, blue ball. Imagine if I had a red ball in one hand and a blue ball in the other hand. And I needed you to prove to me that you're not colorblind. And I put the ball behind my back and I shuffle them. And then I bring them out again and I say, pick the red ball. And you pick the red ball correctly. I'm like, okay, well, that was a good guess. Let me try it again. And I put it out again. And you pick the red ball again. I'm like, okay, that's not bad, right? But it still could be chance. And so I keep doing it maybe 1,000 times until, I realize, okay, this isn't chance anymore. You actually are not colorblind, right? But it's not like you had to pull out your eyeballs and show me your eyeballs and let me inspect them or anything, right? You had proven to me that you're not colorblind, but you didn't actually have to, show me your eyeballs, essentially. So that's what a zero-knowledge proof is in theory. And so we're just taking that concept and applying it to blockchain so that transactions, we can prove that a transaction happened without actually revealing any information about the transaction. We can prove a wallet address without actually having to reveal the identity of the wallet holder. And so that's where the privacy really comes in. All right, and I think some of these questions are starting to get a little awkward. One's in Russian. Unfortunately, I don't know Russian, or I assume it's in Russian, so I can't really answer that. But which wallet is smart to use, MetaMask or DOT? Sorry, buddy, but I hate to break it to you, but we can't use MetaMask on the Polkadot parachain auctions. And so your only option is, out of the ones that you listed, is Polkadot.js, right? But there are many other options, right? For example, you can go through an exchange like Binance to support us, or you can go through a decentralized option or other wallets, right? I think someone mentioned Bifrost in the chat. We have a partnership with Parallel as well. and Fearless Wallet, they've always been supporting us since Calamari. And so yeah, you have a lot of options. And again, all those options are listed on crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. So please, everyone, go to that website right now and bookmark it, because all of your, 99% of your answers are going to be there. All right, so the features of the crowd loan, answered that already. Do you think about what will happen after the implementation of the roadmap? Are there possible additional ways of project development? Yes, definitely. And so this is what's really beautiful about on-chain governance, right? Because when we do this, we're no longer, just developing our own vision. We're developing the community vision. We're essentially your hands now, right? And so from the community, there can be proposals and people can come up with new ideas, and the community votes on those ideas. And so there are definitely a lot of additional ways for project development, project maturity, right? Which makes it a little tricky, because people are like, what will any parachain project look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Well, it's really hard to determine that in a long scale, because you have governance, and so at the end of the day, it really depends on what the community wants. And so that's exactly our stance. And I think that does open up a lot of opportunity to expand our products, our services, our network very creatively, not just with our own tools, but by integrating into other parachain projects, which is the whole value proposition of Polkadot, right? Being able to cross-chain communicate between layer ones. Okay, so good day. What will be the features of the... Okay, I think I answered that. Smart wallet, okay. Why is there... Oh, I see this one in the community chat. Why is there such a difference in rewards between Calamari and Manta? Well, I don't want to get too much in the economic details, because I don't want to put anyone to sleep. But essentially, right, like there's a lot of factors here. One is, think about the price of Kusama versus the price of Polkadot, right? So one dot that you're contributing is a significantly less, financial contribution than Kusama. And then on top of that, we have 10 billion Calamari. We have 1 billion Manta, right? So the supply is already 10 times larger on Calamari. And so, those are just some of the reasons why these rewards are the way they are. What I can say, though, is that the way that we design these rewards were to maximize the incentives for the community. And so what you'll see is that, if you put all the rewards side by side, you'll understand that Manta network, we're pretty generous. But I don't want to get into too much detail there, but you do the math. Let's see, what else? Why did you choose to build Manta network on Substrate? That's a really good question. So we built Manta network on Substrate because we decided that we wanted to build a layer one. We didn't want to go the smart contract route, building a decentralized application, because there are some user experience frictions with that, right? When you think about, I guess, Ethereum, right? Like the gas fees are pretty expensive. And then when you're trying to do zero knowledge proofs in a decentralized way, the gas fees can be even more expensive. And, we didn't want this product to be something that limits the user base based on their financial capabilities, right? We didn't want it to be just people who can afford $100 gas fees to be using it. We really wanted this to be fully decentralized. Anyone can use it at any time, right? Because privacy, we truly believe, is a fundamental right. And so, we decided that the only way to kind of tackle this was in like a layer one position. But when you build a layer one, you have your own problem of how do you be interoperable with other projects, right? Like it's not easy. And so we luckily found Polkadot and Substrate, right? Because Substrate, the whole value proposition here is that we can easily interoperate and cross-chain communicate with other projects. And we've already kind of done that with Kala. We've tested out on testnet XCM, which is the cross-chain communication protocol, and we were able to send different assets across chains. And so it was a very beautiful value proposition to us because we would be able to build as a layer one, which means we could be much more scalable. And then we were also able to integrate and implement our technology with other tokens, which is the whole value proposition here, right? Like we want to be able to privatize all blockchain assets. We want privacy as a service, as a utility. You shouldn't have to think about privacy. You shouldn't have to think about turning it on. It should just be like whenever you open your phone, you've got internet. Whenever you take a shower, you've got water, hopefully. And whenever you use Polkadot, you should have privacy. And so, in order to do that, we can't just privatize our own assets. We have to privatize all assets. And that's exactly what we're doing, and that's why we chose Polkadot. So who can participate in your crowd loan? What are the prerequisites? Anyone can participate in the crowd loan. The crowd loan is fully decentralized. And you're not purchasing anything. I will remind you that you are lending. And it's not really a direct lend as well because we have no control over that. So there are not really any requirements, except that you have to have DOT. You have to use DOT, I guess, to participate. If you're trying to use Ethereum to participate, you cannot. Sorry. Let's see. Have a good day. Okay, thank you. What will be the initial circulating supply of Manta, and what is the inflation schedule? Again, that information will be in crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. We have a vesting schedule there as well, and so you can, play around with that and do all the calculations you want there. Let's see. Steps to participate in the crowd loan, please. Okay, just Google Parachain or Polkadot crowd loans, and start from there. That's my instructions to you. Let's see. Would you recommend us to participate in the auction through the parallel auction loan? Now, of course, I can't recommend any one particular way because we have lots of partners and they're all amazing and they all treat us well and we love to treat them all well. I will say definitely parallel is an awesome option. But at the end of the day, it just depends on what you feel comfortable with. There are decentralized options and then there are centralized options. And we have it all listed on crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. So if you haven't bookmarked that page yet, please bookmark it. In fact, I'm going to have a moment of silence for 10 seconds so that everyone can go to that website and bookmark it. All right, I think that was 10 seconds. But I hope that you guys did that because it's going to save you a lot of headache in the future. Because all you have to do is click on that bookmark, go to the page, and just Control F, and you'll probably find exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so let's see. Okay, another one in a different language. So I'm sorry, I can't really read the language. Oh, here's an interesting one. I was invited here and I have not passed KYC. Then why was I invited here? So I don't get the sale? Okay, so whoever this was, you are invited here because this is a conversation about the crowd loan, not about Squad Game. Squad Game requires KYC. We are not doing KYC for the crowd loan because the crowd loan is fully decentralized. And so you can participate in the crowd loan, and this is your chance at getting Manta token, right? So, you can get Manta token, you can support the project, and you can get Manta on as parachain. It's just like three really amazing things, or I think they're amazing. So yes, you are still able to participate in the crowd loan. I just want to make that clarification. What are the token economics? Well, you can find that information at crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. Please bookmark that page. Let's see. Good day. How are you going to follow your roadmap? Do you have any backup options? No, we don't really have any backup options. I mean, it's not like we can just work on another project and abandon Manta. We're so deep in it now. So Manta is our only option. How do we follow our roadmap? Well, to the best of our ability. I don't know how to answer that question. I know someone had asked about like our team, right? We have, as I mentioned, 15 people. And all of the 15 people that I had, or I didn't list them, but like we have 15 people. And out of those 15 people, 13 of them are on the engineering side. So we're very engineering heavy, and we intend to still be so. And so, with that amount of talent that we have on our team, they're not just talented, they're really awesome and great people as well. We've been able to hit the milestones that we've set for ourselves. And so we have that intention to go do that in the future as well. But in order to do that, we also need to scale up the team. We really need to hire really talented Rust engineers, really talented full stack engineers. And so if you or anyone you know is interested, let me know. When will we start the stream? Well, this must be an old question because it's already started. Hello. Okay. Shout out to Lily. All right, shout out to Lily, one of our regional ambassadors. One of our regional commanders. Sorry, Lily. Got to give you the credit you deserve. Okay, let's see. Can we participate in the testnet? Yes, please. In fact, we'll be coming out with more information about the testnet coming soon. So Calamari, right, as I mentioned, coming out Q4. It will be an incentivized testnet, as we had mentioned before. And so there will be rewards for participating in that. And then Manta Network, right, we have really awesome rewards for participating in it. If you see here, the liquidity event. Right? This is the event where once Manta Pay goes live, we want you to try it out. And if you try it out, you get 20% more Manta for your crowd loan. So definitely, it's a good idea to try out the testnets. Try it both on Calamari and on Manta. All right, well, I kind of went through all the questions, at least the ones that kind of made sense to go through. There were some in other languages which wouldn't make sense for me to try to answer because I don't know what they are. And there were some that were a little bit off topic, and there are rules and explanations of how you can get those answered, so I won't cover it again here. But yeah, so that's about the end. I just want to emphasize that, we're very excited to start this crowd loan, and thank you guys so much for participating in this and sitting through all this and listening to me talk about all this information that I think is exciting, and I think you guys think are exciting too, right? Because like I noticed at the beginning there was only like 400 people here, but now there's like 630 and there's like 1,300 registered, so someone's got to find this exciting. But like I mentioned, right, like when you are participating in the crowd loan, it's not just a loan contribution. It's not just, getting our project in the network, right? I think you guys are helping with building out privacy for the Polkadot ecosystem. And we're all doing this together. I mean, we've already launched on-chain governance in Calamari, so it depends on you guys now. I mean, our engineering team's still going to execute what you want, but, we need to hear your opinions. And so, yeah, like I'm very excited for all this. We have so many events, and I know that you guys are probably overwhelmed with the amount of information we're releasing. So if you have any questions, first of all, just go definitely to crowdloanstrategy.manta.network. And any other questions, just ping us on Telegram and Discord. If they're crowd loan related. If they are squad game related, there are pinned messages with instructions of how to get support. So yeah, thank you all very much. Really appreciate your time. And I will talk to you guys later. Next Wednesday. See you guys next Wednesday.